is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
The Memorial Day event starts now at Florida's #1 volume Subaru store, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy a new Subaru today with financing as low as 0% APR, or lease a new Outback for only $278 a month. Shop SPPLove.com.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink, be the maestro of your own home.
Come on in to Toyota of Hollywood, where curiosity and extraordinary deals await you. Your golden ticket buys a 2025 Corolla, not $26,000, $17,988. And we've got sweet deals with 0% financing for 72 months, 0 down. Enter our world of wonder, and we'll show you why we're the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 18 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive the new Acura Integra. Only $239 a month during our 18th anniversary sale.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The Memorial Day event starts now at Florida's #1 volume Subaru store, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy a new Subaru today with financing as low as 0% APR, or lease a new Crosstrek for just $158 a month. Shop SPPLove.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard. Would be nice if I actually added myself to the screen. Hope everything is well for you all out there. Hit me the thumbs up to make sure audio-wise we're doing good, or we got a tweak or something. You never know. On a beautiful Tuesday, it was nice to take a day off, actually. Rarely do that, you know? Rarely do that. So I think after the football season, I'll probably take my first vacation in a long time. Like really long. Like 7 years long. Yeah. So it is time. I think I really have not had a vacation for 7 years. I've kind of worked all the way through. Not really healthy for you, but you know, it is what it is. You grind the way you grind. Anyway, welcome aboard on a beautiful Tuesday, May 26, 2026. It is day number 19,126 since our beloved Miami Dolphins won the Super Bowl. It is day number 8,909 since the Canes were national champions. And it is day number 4,722 since the Miami Heat were world champions themselves. Those are the countdowns. Welcome aboard. Hope you all are doing well. The market's doing all right, actually. Dow is up 90 points. The S&P is up 55. The NASDAQ is down barely, like a quarter of a point. And Bitcoin is stuck where it's been for like 5 months now, 77,000. So that's nothing has changed so far. Everything is kind of good on that side. Not other things, but that is all right. Anyway, we got all of that going on. David Furones will join us. We will talk a little Miami Dolphins with him as the offseason continues. We've got sad news, unfortunately, as Manny Fernandez, the great defensive tackle for the Miami Dolphins and their undefeated season and their championship years, number 75, passed away at the age of 79. And just one of the greats. I interviewed Manny probably once or twice in my career on the show. I didn't have a relationship with Manny Fernandez or anything like that, so I don't have any stories or anything like that. And, you know, he played when I was a kid, so it was just one of those deals. Obviously a beast, a hell of a player. Everybody knows the history of Manny Fernandez, and it's just kind of a shame how, you know, we keep losing those players from that great 72 team, and really the last great era for the Miami Dolphins. And so just a sad day in Dolphin land to hear about Manny Fernandez passing away at the age of 75. Just hope he was surrounded by his loved ones, and hopefully he had a good life. 79 is pretty good for most of us, so good that he was able at least to get in a good life overall. But he was just one amazing player that could have been an MVP in that Super Bowl easily. Just a key cog to that defense. Just everything that was good about them, everything that was great about the Miami Dolphins, Manny Fernandez was a part of that, back in the day. So sad news to hear the passing of Manny Fernandez. So we have that. And any of you want to share any stories, maybe some of you older guys out there have a story or two, or maybe you met him one day, you can talk a little bit. I know I met him a couple times. Had him on my show a couple times back in the day. This was easily 20, 30 years ago, back in the early days of QAM. I remember I've had a lot of those 72 guys because they would be around every once in a while, and I'd get them either at camp or at a pregame or at a Dolphin event or something like that. I've had the chance to interview different players from those 72 teams, over the years. And I remember having Manny on a couple times, but it was just normal interviews that you have when you're there sitting there with the legend and just kind of talking to him about his days and everything else. So I can't necessarily say I have any special stories with Manny, of course, but hell of a player, man. Hell of a player, and it's just it's sad to hear about his passing. And it's just sad to hear about our past, because that's all we can rely on. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's like, damn, can this team create some new memories, please? Some fresh memories, some real fresh championship memories. It would be nice. You know what I'm saying? It would be nice to have a championship team to complement the ones that we had in the 70s, because it's a shame that that's all we can lean on, overall. And I'm afraid, by the way, to segue into the Heat, that's what they're turning into also, that they're turning into that team that can only reminisce because currently they can't produce like they used to in the past. And obviously it's been decades for the Dolphins. The Heat are kind of headed in that direction now. You know what I'm saying? And I know we're all waiting for the Giannis Antetokounmpo decision and all that. So we'll see what happens. I've got my thoughts on that one too. By the way, our friends at Toyota of Hollywood, proud sponsors of our program. We love talking about Herbie Lopez and the great people out there at Toyota of Hollywood. And folks, with gas prices going through the roof, you should check out the BZ. Battery EV. They got the BZ XLE, which has a 314-mile range, 221 horsepower front-wheel drive. They've got the all-wheel drive that has 335 horsepower, and it's got 288 miles for the range. They've got the Corolla Hybrid, the Corolla Cross Hybrid, the Prius plug-in hybrid. That thing has 220 horsepower. That thing can move, baby. Move, okay? It's crazy, and it's super efficient. The amount of miles that you'll get on that is just crazy. They've got the CHR. It's got 267 total mile range. They've got the RAV4 plug-in hybrid. So they've got a lot of options for you when it comes to hybrids and crossovers and things like that. So go check it out. Besides the regular Camry and the Corolla and the 4Runner and everything else that they have there, the Tundra, whatever you're looking for, a truck, they've got it for you. SUV, car, the selection is crazy. They've got 1,200 new vehicles. They've got 2,000 cars under roof. And like I said, under roof. So you get away from the heat and the humidity and the rain, and we are now in rainy season. And nobody wants to go to a dealership where all the cars are out there and you're getting rained on. You can't do that. But if you're under roof and it's floor after floor after floor, and you could go check out, 50 Camrys or 75 Corollas or whatever it is. You're looking for a Supra. They probably have a couple of Supras there. You can go check it out. And they're hard to find, by the way. That's why Herbie and the folks out there at Toyota of Hollywood, they are top notch. They got a couple of restaurants while you're waiting for your car, the oil to get changed, the tires to get rotated, tune up, whatever it is that you're doing in the service center. They got a really comfortable area for you to relax. They got a couple of restaurants, all of that kind of stuff. Go check it out, man. 1841 North State Road 7, right on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. It is Toyota of Hollywood. And tell them that I sent you. All right. And, of course, Caneswear. Make sure you use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off at Caneswear in person or online. And remember, online, if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. Caneswear.com. You can also make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Send in your questions, comments, insults. Great way to support our show. Hit the like button. That's another way. Visit our amazing sponsors. Many ways to support our program, and we appreciate you immensely. Thank you all out there, as always. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. And if you need custom printing and embroidery, please reach out to my friend Alan Blanco. He can help you or your company, or corporation, institution, school, whatever it is you need, T-shirts, hats, uniforms, they can do it all. 786-618-1443, anywhere in the country, because you do all of that by Zoom. You send the logos and whatever by email. They send you the examples, and then you say, print, baby, and it's printed, and it's shipped right out to you right away. So reach out to Alan, super efficient. He'll get it out to you, man. Good people out there at 3A Graphics. Well, on Sunday, Inter Miami got it done. It was kind of crazy, that game with Philadelphia. 10 goals scored. Messi walked away with an injury, a knock, muscle fatigue, whatever you want to call it. But he did leave the game early. But they still won. They scored a couple of goals. He left it with a tied game at 4-4, and they went on to score 2 more goals. 6-4, Luis Suarez had the hat trick, scoring in the 29th, 44th, and 81st minute. That this is the last game for the World Cup break for the next 2 months. So they are off, but the supporters' curse is on. That's why Messi had to walk off the field with a knock, an injury. The supporters' curse. Salute the supporters, or the curse is on you. Tonight at 8:30, Game 5 of the NBA Finals between the Spurs and the Thunder. Thunder favored by 5.5. The over and under is 215.5. Spurs plus 165. Thunder minus 195. In the consolation game, the Knicks swept the Cavs with a 130-93 win. They will await the winner and lose also. But, hey, listen, they get the honor. Congratulations to the Knicks to get to the finals. They can win a game or two, but they're not winning the series. This is all going to be about the Thunder or the Spurs. Tonight should decide this series. Who wins Game 5 might end up winning the series when it's all said and done. Canes baseball, they make it to the playoffs. They make it to the Super Regional in Gainesville. And they're the number 2 seed, as the Gators, of course, are the number 1 seed. They will take on Troy on Friday at 6 o'clock. You can watch it at the ACC network, so you can root on the Canes. Good news there. And in bad news, sad news for the Miami Dolphins, the great Manny Fernandez passes away at the age of 79. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Okay. All right, folks. Let's see. What else do we have going on? Oh, what do we got? The Jaybird I see there on the chat board. Good morning to you, sir. Jaime. Zoria. What's up, Jamie? And he's reminding everybody to smash it and the like button, too. Gus 1388. Jeff in Long Island. Yep, R.I.P. to Manny. Big Johnson, happy holidays to you, sir. Ray Varnicus. No real stories, my brother. Jay Superman. Kosa. True Fin fan says Giannis would be a fool if he chooses Miami over Boston. He'd waste the rest of his career here if truly cares about winning. Go to Boston. Miami's dysfunctional. Well, I don't know about dysfunctional. I just think they're just misguided right now. That's all. They have chosen a way of doing things that no longer is done in the NBA, and it makes no sense. Now, let's get to, one of the elephants in the room, which is the whole Giannis situation. And I stand by that also, by the way. I think it would be stupid of him to come here if Boston wants him, because Tatum would be the perfect Batman to his Robin. The problem, he comes here, you have two Robins. You're in a 3-point league, and now you put together two 2-point players. That doesn't fly. Tatum can complement the outside to his inside game. It would make much more sense if he's really about winning a championship, he would go to Boston. He's not winning a championship here with the way this team is built around him and Bam. And Bam being either a 1 or a 2 puts your team in a real deficiency because he offensively is not a dog. And in this league, you're not a star if you're not a dog on offense. The Bam would have been a star in the 90s because points were at a premium. That's different back then. Now, you need points. You need to score. And you look at Wemby. He's a big man that can shoot from half court if you need him to shoot with no effort whatsoever, hitting that shot at halftime. That's ridiculous. Not only hitting the 30-footer he hit the other night. No, he goes and hits like a half-court shot effortlessly. This is the stuff that you cannot compete with. Miami will not have the people around Giannis to win anything significant. Will they have a better season? Yeah. Could they possibly get out of the first round? Maybe, but that's about it. Are you not going to be a playing team? Yeah, so what? Yeah, you won't be a playing team, but you're not going to be anything special. It's a desperation move is what it is, unfortunately. I remember when they used to bring in stars like Alonzo Mourning and LeBron James and even Chris Bosh, who were in their prime. What a concept. Acquiring stars that maybe were disgruntled, but they were in their prime. Now you're getting guys that are on the back end of their career, and their career is in the process of declining now. And that's where Giannis is. It's a declining game because his body's breaking down constantly. And you're a team that actually needs a star that's full-time. You see what happened with the other star you had here that was part-time. That didn't fly. In only 1 year, you got away with it, and then you thought you were going to get away with it every year after that, which was, back then I said it was stupid, and I hope you figured it out that it's stupid anyways. This is not going to be a good move. This is a desperate move by the Miami Heat. And here's the kicker out of all of this, ladies and gentlemen. Good, bad, or indifferent. We'll see what it is. But do you know what the Giannis move, if it happens, what it will be? Are you ready for this? It's the last move that Pat Riley ever makes. Because in his mid-80s, if this is a hit, he's done. And he moves on and he retires on a high note. If this is a dud, he's done, he moves on, and there'll be changes coming. That's what's going to happen. So this Giannis move will lead to a conclusion of some sorts. You can take that to the bank. One way or another, this will close the chapter of Pat Riley's run with the Miami Heat. This will be the last whale he acquires. Will it be successful? I hope so. I hope I'm dead ass wrong, but I think this is going to be an absolute disaster. You're not going to win shit. He's going to break down more because his body will break down, because that's what happens when you play that kind of game that he plays. Since his game can't ever become the game you need for this NBA nowadays, that his perimeter game will never become excellent. It's too late at this point. It's not who he is. And if you think at this late of his career, you're all of a sudden going to turn Bam into some kind of offensive monster, you're also smoking some really good stuff that you should share with the rest of us. But I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee you, this brings closure to the Pat Riley era, one way or the other. If it works out, fantastic. It works out. But if you watch the track record of the last 12 years, it's a bad one. Constantly. There's a lot of bad moves in the last 12 years. They're lucky that Spo has made it look better than what it really is. Spo's not good enough to overcome this. So you will deplete your team. You will have no picks in the future. You will take up all your cap space with the two players. You will probably fail because you won't win anything significant in your desperation to get back to being relevant. You know, I saw Greg Cody's article over the weekend that the Heat are trying to avoid being irrelevant. I would disagree with that. I think the Heat are already irrelevant. It's just that we're so desperate locally to make them relevant, but they're not. And this is a desperate move to become relevant again. I don't think anybody thinks the Heat has been relevant the last couple of years. And this year was as forgettable as it gets. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it turns out. I can't tell you how Sully and Half are going to work out. I can't go out on a limb there because I don't have enough information. But I have enough information on what I've watched from the Heat the last 12 years, the moves I've seen from Pat Riley, what I've seen from Giannis Antetokounmpo as his game continues to decline because his body is now declining. I will go out on a limb and tell you this will be a disaster of a move. And this will close out the Pat Riley era, one way or the other. Unfortunately, I don't think it's the good one. I think it'll be the bad one. It won't matter because nothing stains Pat Riley's run here. He is the greatest ever in this town. He passed Shula, just like Wade passed every football player locally in town. He's got 3 titles, bro. And he single-handedly carried the Heat in that 06 title. Oh, no, he passed Marino. He passed Zonka. And Riley already passed Shula. Riley had a better career than Shula here in Miami. So they've accomplished it. Nothing can stain what they've done. But unfortunately, there's an expiration clock on everything in life. And we've hit that expiration time. And this is it here. This will be Pat Riley's final move. I can guarantee you that. You can bank on that one there. You can record this. It's always going to be there. So you can go back and look at plenty of stuff that I've said over the last 7 years. Okay? This is over right here. This will end the Pat Riley run one way or the other. It'll be either good or it'll be part of the many bad moves that have happened, sadly, the last 12 years for the organization. Closure is coming. All right. Let's talk about Subaru of Pembroke Pines. We love talking about Subaru of Pembroke Pines, 16100 Pines Boulevard. Go see my guy Alan out there. He is the general manager, Eric Stampone. And folks, again, with gas prices going through the roof if you're looking for an option like electric vehicles, and right now there's 25,000 charging stations across the country. So that has gotten way better, and all your Subarus will tell you where's your nearest charging station. Plus, when you purchase a vehicle, they give you a portable charger that comes with it. So you can connect it in your house easily. You know, it used to need like a special installation for it. Not anymore. Now it connects to a regular outlet and you're off and running, dude. And how about the Uncharted right now? You can get the symmetrical all-wheel Uncharted, the GT, which has the panoramic roof. Really nice 20-inch alloyed wheels. Check it out, man. Over 300 mile range for the Uncharted. The Trail Seeker has 375 horsepower, has 280 mile range. By the way, you can go from 10% to 80% battery in 28 minutes. You can do that with the Uncharted. You can do it with the Trail Seeker. You can do it with the Solterra. With Subarus, you can go from 10% to 80% in 28 minutes. That's nothing. Even when you go traveling and you stop at a service center and you and the family and all that, you easily take 20 minutes. Everybody going to the bathroom, grabbing stuff, whatever, putting gas, whatever. 28 minutes, you can pick up 70%. That's pretty damn good. The Solterra, by the way, has got a 288 mile an hour range. 288 mile range, not mile an hour. You can get the standard symmetrical all-wheel drive with it. And again, the Solterra comes in the premium, the limited, the touring XT, the touring leather XT, which is just absolutely awesome. So different models. And of course, check out all the other Subaru models. Tell them that Big O sent you. 16100 Pines Boulevard. And make sure you go visit our friends at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. Brian Landis, Juan Rosa, NorCal in the house. TJ Superman. Let's see. Damn, this sucks, man. Love Fernandez. Remember the fan running onto the field and he almost killed him? Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. Let's see. The Giannis trade talk from the Heat fans, podcasters, and other media outlets has got them fantasizing about a short championship window. Look, man, if there's one thing that I've learned, and I go completely against the grain on it, in general, people don't want to hear that, especially if it's bad news. They just don't. Just don't. It's just kind of the way it is. People don't really want honesty. They want, a lot of times, they want an echo chamber, is what they want. And they're asking you already with the intent of what they want to hear. And then when you're really honest with them about what you think, it just turns them off. And there's a large percentage of people that are like that. And they cannot handle honesty. Like last year, when I was the entire offseason leading up to last year, I told everybody, bro, there's going to be a bad year. And just people didn't want to believe it. That's just kind of the way it goes. So when you tell people, I don't think this Giannis move is really there's no way you're going to be a championship team. Can you get out of the first round? Maybe. But that's about it. You're really not going to win a lot. They don't want to hear that. And if you have fan-centric sites that they're only geared to one sport, what do you think they need to do in the offseason? They got to create some kind of hope. They can't be honest with people even if they think it's going to be a bad year because they're afraid of losing their audience. You know? That's just kind of the way it is. People struggle with honesty nowadays. They really do. They don't want to hear what they don't want to hear. They want to hear what they want to hear. That's the problem. All right, let's talk Dolphins with the one and only David Furones and our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session. Welton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right, my brother, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I was just listening to what you were saying before I jumped on. It's so true, and even so, because I posted recently some Knicks takes on how I see what they're doing, but I mean this is their peak. And then it's funny how Knicks fans then jump on me over it, but it's humorous because they just want to hear that same echo chamber you talk about, where I hear the commentators say, "Oh well, I know everyone's been saying it's the West that'll win and that's the real finals, but now after we've seen this team, you got to say they have a chance." And I'm just there no. They've played against the Cavs in the East, the Sixers, who they had the Hawks in the first round. That was already so long ago, I can't remember. But yeah, so I mean, no, I'm supposed to be impressed because now I've seen this, what I knew was probably going to happen. The Spurs and Thunder are the class of the West, and then now the Knicks achieved their peak. Congratulations to them on getting to the finals, but that's as far as they'll go. I'm not going to change my mind.
By the way, it's the same thing as Heat and Nuggets. It's the same shit.
I was thinking of that one too.
And when they got there, I had Heat fans. What do you think? And I'm like, they got no shot. They're going to get completely killed. And then, of course, obviously, I'm getting killed because I'm being honest. And look, this won't be like that. I think the Knicks can win a game, maybe two in the finals, but I don't think they're beating at all San Antonio or OKC because they are the best teams in the world, bro. They just are, period. End of story. The Knicks took advantage of the East. That's it. Just like the Heat, when they got to the finals, they got lucky. Embiid was injured in one and Giannis was injured in the other, so they really only had to get through Boston, and they got through Boston, and it was over. And they got in, and then they were overmatched.
Yeah, that year it was Giannis in the first round getting injured. Then they had the Knicks in the second round, who weren't ready yet to go on a run like they are. Yeah. And then and then it was the Celtics where I thought that's when it was going to end. So it was even a bonus that they got past the Celtics in the Eastern Conference because they took that 3-0 lead, and I think that Boston core had just always they would underachieve in a lot of postseasons too. So that was a prime example. Went down 3-0, and then they were limping to get through that series because Jimmy didn't have, he had lost his bounce at that point. So you knew he just didn't have anything left in the tank for the finals. But it took a Jason Tatum injury in that game 7, Caleb Martin going off in that game. But I compared a little bit to that one too, where because maybe I'm biased, coming from Miami, but I saw that 23 Heat team kind of the same way. In fact, they did more than I expected because they beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. But once they got to the finals, you didn't think they really had a chance, especially how they limped to the end.
Completely, they completely overachieved. They had a great year, dude. They overachieved and they did phenomenal, and they went as far as they could possibly go. And I think the Knicks have done the same. Congratulations to them. And then I also was talking about this Giannis thing. If you're going to trade Jaylen Brown and you're going to get Jaylen Brown for Giannis, and if you're Giannis and you can be paired with Jason Tatum instead of Bam Adebayo, if you're really about winning, then you go to Boston. If you want to come to Miami, that's fine. But if you're going to have your two best players or two 2-point players, that math doesn't jive in this league anymore. You know what I'm saying? Okay, because you're watching the big guy for San Antonio shoot 3-pointers from 30 feet or half court effortlessly. You know what I mean? That's what you've got to be in this league if you're a big. You got to be able to play outside and inside. You're going to have two bigs that can't play on the outside? That makes no sense to me. So common sense. Again, if you want the echo chamber, go to those Heat sites and they'll give you the echo chamber. But to me, If Giannis really wants to win and it's down to Boston and Miami, he would be a fool to pass up on Boston.
Objectively, if you look at it, then you got to say that the Tatum Antetokounmpo duo would mash all else. But but I mean, then you also have the appeal of Miami, of coming down to Miami. So maybe, and the international vibes that are here.
Yeah, appeal, but you're not talking about winning. I'm talking about winning. Appeal is nice.
With a chance to bring a team back. Because Giannis is also he's lost to the Heat, but he's also lost to the Celtics in the postseason. So I guess from that perspective, it's kind of even. It's not like but the Celtics are the team that's more established. So if you want, because it would feel a little bit more like the KD thing if you went there, although the Celtics wouldn't be keeping one of their two best players in this scenario. So it's not exactly the same apples to apples, but you could bring a team up if that's important to them as well. It all depends on what.
You're not beating the Knicks. You're not beating the Knicks with that team. You're just not. You're not. The Knicks are still the best team in the East.
You would need the shooting. You need a lot more shooting because now you have your two best players who aren't perimeter shooters. So at that point, especially in today's NBA, you would need everyone else to be able to shoot.
Yeah, you would need some. I mean, you're going to need a plethora of shooters, something that they don't have actually. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of crazy. All right, let's get to a little football overall. What are your thoughts on Jordan Brooks? Will he get a contract or will he get traded? Because I know Aaron Brewer is going to get a contract. I mean, there's no way they trade him. So I am convinced you didn't bring Malik Willis here to all of a sudden take away his center right before training camp. So that's out the window. So the only guy, which I also have, I think there's a 0% chance that Jordan Brooks gets traded. But I got to ask you, since you're the beat guy, you're there all the time. They haven't come up with a deal yet. I don't think Jordan Brooks is going to hold out either because this is all new to him and they're new. And, he kind of has to win his way back in a way to these guys. What do you think happens with the Jordan Brooks situation?
Yeah. I might put it at a little bit higher of a percentage than I was before, just based on the words that the man said himself, where he said, asked about the contract extension, that he doesn't know, frankly, that it could go either way. And, when people around the league have asked me, other media members from other markets that maybe are interested in seeing if the team they cover would trade for Jordan Brooks because they need a linebacker. And I've kind of been like, no, I don't think so because – one, he's one of the three pillars that I know John Eric Sullivan has wanted to build around, one of them being Devon Achane. He got his contract extension, and then him, Brooks, and then the other one being Aaron Brewer, who, as you said as well, that the Dolphins should strike a deal with him. But only because Brooks is saying, I'm not sure. It could go either way. But I would still heavily lean that the Dolphins want him here to stay, that they'll strike this deal. They got the future money to make sure they can get it done. They just want to make sure they're not putting themselves in a bad situation going forward where now you really hamstrung yourself for future off seasons. But and make sure you get the right deal that is appropriate for a linebacker going forward. So, hey, it's a position where you don't have to spend that much to get your prime guy. First round picks make about the same. And Jordan Brooks right now is frankly underpaid. I think he's in the 20 something currently for linebackers that in their contract value. So, you need to make sure you get this man settled with his deal. I think they will. But I just put, instead of 0%, now it's like, okay, I might give it like a 10 or 15 because if Jordan Brooks is saying, I'm not sure right now, it could go either way. And then if you don't get this deal done, then it would behoove you to possibly find some draft picks, some future draft stock to invest in what you have right now in Jordan Brooks, but still heavily favoring that Brooks gets this extension.
Okay, I think he does too. I really do. Because of you need to have some people around, dude, to lead the team, and he's such an exceptional, leader and human being. You really want him around. But I had to ask that. Now, here's the follow up to the other thing. Okay, so once you get the Chubb money, you got to sign your 13 picks. You got to sign Brewer and you got to sign Brooks. How much money do you really have left over if you even really want to add free agents? You know what I'm saying? Like that becomes a little. I don't know if you've done the math, how much money they really are going to free up, and then how much they're going to have to commit to those three, to the two guys and to the 15 guys. In other words, the 13 picks, and then the two veterans. Overall. How much money can they really possibly have left over after that?
Yeah, not too much. If they were to spend, it would have been that first wave of free agency. It's going to be similar contracts. It would be if some stragglers are around that's at positions of need, you just go minimum contract guys or near minimum. So I wouldn't see them making any kind of late big splash. That money will be used primarily to sign that draft class. And then beyond that, now there are ways you could structure your extensions. So with Brooks and Brewer, you could actually save money in the short term for 2026. And then possibly then that money could go to a 1-year deal for someone where it's a little more competitive, getting closer to training camp on who they want to sign with. And if you really want them, sure. But, this roster for John Eric Sullivan, it's highly vital to him to get this roster young and also cheap. So that had to be one of the priorities of the offseason from the beginning, is get younger and get cheaper to get out of that salary cap hole that they were in. And then in the meantime, just have a lot of young players that you can bring up this draft and develop mentality. So you're bringing in a lot of young guys where you can instill the new culture from the start for them. And then they are now the new core along with your key foundational pieces that you've inherited and you want to bring along into this next phase. That had the leadership qualities like a Jordan Brooks, like an Aaron Brewer, Devon Achane, not a rah-rah leader, but a guy that you want for his talent to continue on, a Zach Sealer. All these guys are the ones that are carrying you into this next phase along with the young core. So that then, you can build something where you've got this culture established from the beginning.
For when it comes to injuries outside of Chris, are there any other injuries? Achane, right? That's about it. And is there anything else that's out there?
Well, we've talked about Austin Jackson too. Austin
Jackson. Yeah.
Chris, you're saying is Chris Bell, of course.
Yeah,
right?
Chris Bell. Yeah, he's the obvious one because obviously he's been coming back from that knee injury. So this week, it'll be interesting to see if either Achane or Austin Jackson are able to take the field and to see how long whatever ailments they have actually lingers.
Yeah, that'll be a key thing to watch. Actually, tomorrow we're right back out there for another open OTA. I'll keep my eyes on that. You mentioned Chris Bell, Achane, who now has a contract extension done. So we'll see if there's some uptick in what he does. we'll test the theory there. But it could also just be the natural progression of how he's going through this offseason thing, which it was noted to us. Like Kevin Patullo kind of mentioned, he has to get back healthy. So, this is before we had even seen him doing any kind of side work to rehab whatever he's got with his lower legs or whatever it might be. Storm Duck is another one. Because remember from his season-ending deal the year before. So he was on the side and among so many corners that the Dolphins have. So you were still seeing a lot of these guys compete. Probably a good sign, Juju Brents, because his was an ankle for Brents, so not as serious. So, but he was out there, and working and everything, and seems to be having a strong offseason. So he was out there at his normal spot. So good to see his progression. So those are the main. I know there's a few more, but there's so many guys on the roster. But those would be the main ones.
All right. What are you working on in the Sun Sentinel leading up to camp tomorrow?
Yeah, I think today, actually, I'll be writing about Jordan Phillips. We interviewed him at last OTA, and the young D-line coming together, how important they'll be to this 2026 Dolphins team.
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah, the development for all those guys going into their second year. We talked to Kenneth Grant earlier in the offseason, so mixing in a little bit of that, and yeah, seeing what they have on this D-line, as now you need that to be one of your positions of strength, one of those positions that you hope is closer to settled than needing to bring guys along.
Well, you got 13 guys. You got 13 and some undrafted kids that are coming in that have never been in the league. So you expect them to have the trials and tribulations of regular rookies. But you invested heavily into 3 defensive tackles last year. They all got playing time.
Yeah.
And they should all show some marked improvement this year. And if this defense is going to be any good, dude, like somewhat serviceable, those guys in the middle have to work, because you don't have a great pass rush. So if the guys in the middle aren't caving in the pocket and making the job a little easier for the outside guys, this is going to be a long season. So Grant and Phillips and Biggers, those 3 kids, man, they really got to step up, because we saw what happened to Sealer. When they're not performing, they'll double Sealer, they'll chip Sealer. That's what I watched it all year. They, especially in the first half of the year, they were worried more about Sealer, and they weren't worried about the kids, because the kids weren't ready yet. The kids have got to be ready this year, man, because that unleashes Sealer, that unleashes destruction and disruption in the middle, which then causes chaos for the pocket and the quarterback, which then funnels him out to one side or the other, and it's a shorter distance for defensive ends and outside linebackers to get to him. So, it's common sense. But those 2 guys, man, they 25 has to be the season that they picked up a lot of, education, and then season they went and got physically set for this season, and they should be physically and mentally prepared to make a damn impact this year.
Absolutely. You mentioned it, that the interior pressure, the push up front is so vital, especially when you don't know what you have exactly on the edge. And that'll help those edge guys a lot if the quarterbacks can't just step up into a clean pocket when the edge guys are coming off that end. So if you get to push up front, now you collapse that pocket so they can work in tandem. And Sealer, he was put through a gauntlet last year where we saw him all right, so it was always him and Christian Wilkins. And all right, so Sealer can get his in that scenario, especially it was the 23 season that he had his first double-digit sack season, and you're like, okay, now we see he's unlocked that pass rush when he was always a strong run defender at that position. Then, okay, let's see if you can do it without Wilkins. Well, you brought in Calais Campbell, so that helps immensely. Is you still have that presence, and Calais Campbell was still a stud at his age in that 24 season. Well, then now you had to put Sealer with these rookies who weren't quite ready yet, didn't have a full off season, and that's actually one of the keys for them, is that now it's a full off season of NFL training. That it wasn't for these big D linemen who were training for the combine and doing all this other stuff, pro days. Like now they're back to football and what's really important at their position. So now they've had a full off season where I know those guys, they stay from early in the off season. It's not like they just show up for OTAs and off season workouts. I remember this was big for Patrick Paul last year, is that early on in the offseason, like right after the season, the one season's over, and you're talking about like January, February. I remember this because he said it at a Dolphins Cancer Challenge interview, which is in February, is how he had been in the building that whole time early in it. So that's like months before OTAs start. So that's key for the young guys that are around in the building and around the coaches to get that offseason work, even when it's not yet to the point of the offseason workout program.
I'm with you there. And don't forget Welton Rayom, the consultation's completely free. So if you suffer any damage to your home, condo, or business, never call the insurance companies. I know it sounds crazy, right? Because that's normally what we do because we've been programmed that way. And then they send their adjusters that are working for them, and they assess the problem on their behalf. Well, Welton Rayom has their own adjusters. They send it, and they work on your behalf, not on behalf of the insurance company. And then they attack the insurance company. I did it, and Progressive sent their own guy, but I already had my guys here. They assess the damage, and then they tell Progressive, no, you're wrong. This is a real damage, and they had to pay the real damage. So make sure you pay all those premiums every month. They want to collect, right? Well, when it comes time to helping you, boy, they don't want to live up to their responsibilities. You need the bookend tackles that, Malik Willis desperately needs. Well, you're going to get them with Welton Rayom. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. It's all there, man. 954-966-4646. Follow my man, David Furones, at David Furones _. Make sure you catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir. Oh, and one more thing. R.I.P. Manny Fernandez.
Yes. Yes. By the way, I know you're young. Did you ever get to meet him or talk? Like, I had him on my show. 36 years, so it's a little different. But I had him on my show 20, 25, 30 years ago.
Awesome.
Back in the day when some of the 70s guys would walk in and would hang around that week or whatever at camp or at a pregame or postgame or whatever. And sometimes we'd end up, interviewing them, which was really, really cool. Did you ever have any connection with Manny Fernandez?
No, not as far as getting to meet him. And now, did he attend that 50th anniversary celebration when they had it on the field? That's the only thing I can't remember. Where maybe we would have been in the same building, the game where they honored that team. I'm
not sure.
I'd have to look back to see like which ones of the players were there. But yeah,
for me, the first time I talked to him was like 25 years ago.
Okay, wow, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 25, 30 years ago. I know I did it twice, but it was it was in my early days of QAM. Because I got to interview a whole bunch of those guys, dude, from back in the day, because they would all be around every once in a while during those days, now that's why nowadays over the last 10 years, 15 years, there's not a lot of those guys because they're a little older now at this point. They don't travel as much. They don't move around as much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a shame.
Actually, fun fact, he's one. So in the Dolphins press conference room at the facility, and I don't know if these pictures were up since last time you were there, because I know they're fairly recent. But they got one of them is Don Shula on one wall, get with a big media group interviewing him, and then on the other wall is actually a TV interview Manny Fernandez is doing. So just one thing that comes to mind because you mentioned doing interviews with him. So I'm sure he was always great with us in the media. So just from seeing that image and him being highlighted in that room. So that's cool to see. And I always knew about him being a legend, of course, from that 72 and 73 team. Like whenever you watch the old NFL film stuff and all that, growing up, learning about the teams from the 70s before I was born. So obviously a legend.
Definitely good to us, man. Good or bad, win or lose, they all talk to us, unlike Messi. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, we'll see you on Friday, my brother. Be good.
All right. Sounds good.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
right, we're back. Hope you enjoyed it there with the one and only David Furones. It is true. I mean, I wasn't lying. Good or bad, win or lose, they talk to us. Others don't. Just saying. It's what we do here in America. You know, if you're going to live in our country, might as well do the things we do in our country, right? I'm just saying. You know, you want to live in our country, right? Saying, learn the language, do professional interviews when you win or lose. Really, it's not really a lot to ask when they're paying you $50 million. Anyway, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can send in your questions, comments, insults, whatever you want to do. I'm good. True Fin Fan says he's putting $2K on the Knicks. All right. I mean, you'll get a good thing on the. You'll get a good average, or what is it? A good value on the money line probably, because they're going to be negative on the money line. The West, whoever it is going to be favored over the Knicks. But yeah, I wouldn't be too confident there. They beat the East. They're playing well. They're good. They're a very good team, but OKC and San Antonio are at another level. They're at a completely different level than the conference that's opposite of them. They're at a completely different level than the entire Western Conference and, of course, the Eastern Conference. They're the best teams in the NBA, bar none. It's not even close. I personally think that they will trade Brooks, says True Fin Fan. Okay. All right. Jeff says, I wouldn't sign any more free agents, take care of all the rookies, but ourselves in a better position for 2027 with cap space. I don't think they'll have a ton of cap space left over after the 13 rookies, and then they sign Aaron Brewer and then maybe Brooks. After that, I don't think so. And plus, it just, you know, a veteran that signs here is going to be really desperate because they're going to be signing with a bad football team. They might take a little less to go somewhere else where they can win. You know what I'm saying? Big O, can we please give Inter Miami? Yeah, we could give them a victory cigar. That was fun. I mean, the defense sucks, but that was fun. By the way, our friends at Sloman's Home Shield, they're in 49 of 50 states. So check out Shield Link. It is an amazing app. You can control everything, the lights, the temperature. You're headed home. It's hot as hell. You know the house is hot. You can turn on the AC. That way when you get home, the house is comfortable. Or you got dogs like we do. Yeah, we can't leave just the AC off, dude. Not for our doggies. We kind of like have to have a little bit of, you know, comfortable. We can't just leave it hot, you know. No, dude, you got to turn it on. Plus, not everybody does this. Most people just have cameras on the outside. We have cameras on the outside and inside our house. Why? Because we have 4 dogs roaming the house. So they could be in the first floor. It could be in the second floor. You know, you got to watch them. So we got cameras everywhere to make sure. And when we're gone, we can see them roaming around or relaxing and lounging, which is what they do professionally. Dogs are the best. What a life the dogs live. They sleep like 15 hours a day. That's why they got so much energy every time they see you. They've been sleeping while you're gone. Too funny. Too funny. But call our friends at Sloman's. They will take care of you, man. 1-800-ALARM-ME. 1-800-ALARM-ME. They got something interesting coming up now, too. I cannot tell you yet, but because I'm not told yet. I can't be, you know, but football season, it's the beast will be unleashed by Sloman's. Okay. And by the way, they are part of our Canes post-game broadcast. Okay. So good stuff there as we are improving. We will have Adam Lichtenstein along with Manny Navarro, just in case for those of you that, you know, maybe you haven't tuned in. So we'll have those guys. We're going to stick with Furones, but we're not adding, you know, I told you already. Until the Dolphins win, we won't add multiple insiders. It's just ridiculous. With myself and David, it's more than enough when it comes to the Dolphins. But on the Kane side, that's not something that I like expertly follow the recruiting and everything going on. So I need guys like Manny and Adam, and you guys need it. And so we're and who knows, maybe if I grow the sponsorship a little bit more, I might add something else to add more boost to the Canes, because that's the big dog right now. That's the one that's headed to places right now. Daniel Guzman, good morning to you. Yes, sir. Sad day on the passing of Manny Fernandez. Amen. Ted in Jersey. Check your business mobile. I just sent you some texts. Okay, I will. I will check it after the show. Thank you, sir. And if you, by the way, want to join our platform and become a sponsor, it's really easy. There's the number. Save it. You got a business. Maybe we can, if you got a restaurant or a sports bar, maybe we can do our Canes pre and post game show there. So let's have a conversation. Let's have some fun. Let's get some exposure, get some people down there. We'll have giveaways, all kinds of stuff. So give us a ring. There's the business line, and reach out to us if you want to be a sponsor on our program. And we appreciate you all out there as always. Magnus, what's up with you, sir? Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. Let's close out the President winners. Go Knights, says Miles Deep. Yeah, dude. I did not see that coming. I didn't think anybody can take down the Avalanche. And holy moly, Vegas, man. Congratulations. Wow. That is strong, dude. The way you've come out against the Avalanche. Damn. That gives the East a chance. Whoever gets through. That actually gives them a chance, because I thought the Avalanche was going to run away with it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, man, I am impressed with Vegas. Got to say. Anthony Kyle Campos, thank you, sir. He says, Big O, I saw the film Obsession. The girl who played Nikki is a horror icon. What a performance. Such a pretty face, and the long, dark camera angles captured her craziness. Insane. What an ending. Yeah. I didn't think the movie was that good or anything, but her performance, I got to give her credit. Not impressed with the overall movie. Very predictable. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a storyline that's been used in so many other movies in so many different ways. But the lead girl, she played a crazy person. She did a great job, but not a great movie. Definitely not. I would not pay hard-earned money for it, is what I would do. I would wait for it on a platform if I'm you guys out there. That's what I would do. Let's see. Big O, I sure like our linebacker potential this year with Brooks. What else? Morning. Oh, I'll take dogs over most humans. Oh, God, yes. Yes, bro. Yes, for sure. My 4 dogs are impeccable, man. Yeah. Dogs are angels, man. They're awesome. What else? The Knicks' chances in the finals depends on the health of either team that comes out of the West. I mean, unless they have a whole bunch of injuries, and especially to their key guys, but they're deep, and if their main guys are working, I don't like the Knicks' chances. Could they win a game? Maybe 2? Sure, it could happen, but they're not winning this series. No. Big O, what about SGA and the flopping? Bro, that's the NBA. We've talked about that. It's not an SGA thing. It's a ton of people do that stuff. You know what I mean? Harden was a major flopper too. He got away with a whole bunch of that stuff. That's the league. Like I told you last week, blame Vlade Divac. That's the guy that brought in that disease. So, and there's not even a vaccine for it, unfortunately. You got vaccines for the measles, polio. We got vaccines, but we don't have one for flopping, unfortunately. So, what are you going to do? Pat in Asheville says, shows how little I follow other sports. I thought I spelled Giannis. Hello. Anthony O is the only person with this take on Obsession. Well, I don't think Anthony said it was a great movie. I think Anthony just said she did a great performance, which she did. She did a great job acting lonely. But the movie was, God, predictable as hell. And slow, too, at times. Especially at the beginning. So, yeah. It was, I've been around a while, and I've seen a lot of these, obsession-type movies. And, when you've seen some other ones that were better, what can I tell you? I don't have a good take on it. What else? Skylar, that movie was insane. I thought it was going to be like an ending to Stop Wish, like in Big. The film got so crazy. Yeah, it did. Let's see. Big O and chat, are we going to support Tyreek Hill's? That Tyreek Hill DJ decision is a fantastic move by him, because this will allow him to impregnate more women. That's all I saw. When I saw that, I go, this is the kind of job he should have. He should be in clubs late at night with gold diggers hanging around, listening him, and then bragging about his set, and then he's got to take the sweet mama home, and then she walks away with a bun in the oven. That's what I thought of when I saw, Tyreek Hill wants to be a DJ. Okay, I know what's coming now. I mean, can't teach an old dog new tricks. This is a guy that broke an influencer's leg and then carried her upstairs to bang her. This is a man that has no shame. He attacks an old man in a fishing pier. Yeah. Tyreek Hill DJing, clubs at night, gold diggers everywhere at those clubs. I mean, so it's just like kerosene on a fire? Is that what we're doing here? Oh, Lord. That guy's going to be so broke. It's sad, by the way. It's sad because the Lord blessed him with an ability, and he's able to make a bunch of money. He's done everything possible to blow all that money by having all these baby mamas, by cheating on his wife, who then she has some kids, to then keep your ass hooked for more alimony, and you already had her at a living level in the Porsche building or whatever, so she's going to have that standard for the kids that you've got to maintain for the next 18 years. Good luck. Good luck. All right? Ronnie Cycli was a guy that got into it, but Ronnie Cycli was always a decent human being from the get-go. So he didn't have that problem that Tyreek Hill has with women and people and relationships and all that kind of stuff. One guy behaved like a normal human being and a professional, Ronnie Cycli, and the other guy is just a wild man. DJing is not the career he should have. Probably should be a monk. Anyway, let's see. The problem, Big O, is young people don't watch old movies, so it's not predictable to them. It's an interesting point. Interesting point. All I have to say to Tyreek Hill on a career change is break a leg. Big O, just think about it. In the future, the Miami phone book will contain 10 pages of Tyreek Hill. Wow. Prodigies? Or what is this? Progenies? Or prodigies, you probably mean. Or how about just babies? Baby mamas. Checking out the new Mandalorian movie this week with my son. Hope it's good. It's all right. It's all right. It's not a great Star Wars movie. All right, Daniel, if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, like I told you last week and I gave you the review, you'll enjoy it like I did, but you're not walking away like, wow, this was a great Star Wars movie. No, you're not. No, you're not. You'll walk away going, I enjoyed it. It was cool. Good storyline and plot and all that, but I can name a couple of Mandalorian episodes that were better. Those are the facts. But you're not going to walk away like you did with other Star Wars movies where you were like, wow, that was awesome. That was legendary. No, you're not going to do it. Sorry. You're not going to do it. It's just the way it is. It's a solid movie, but you can never walk away from that movie saying, oh, this is a great Star Wars movie. When you've been to the theaters for many Star Wars movies that you said, holy shit, wow, that was awesome. You're not going to say that. You're going to say, oh, it was a good movie, solid. But you're not going to go out and say this was a great Star Wars movie because it's not a great Star Wars movie. It's a good Star Wars movie. Not great. Not great. Just being honest. And by the way, this was the lowest opening week for a Star Wars movie ever. So apparently people are kind of following following along the same thought lines that I have. Not that they listen to me or anything, but I other people are kind of getting it. It's not a great Star Wars movie. Nobody can say that. If you say that, you're just kind of, you're not willing to admit the brutal honesty. It's a solid movie, but it's not a great movie. Okay, but for a Star Wars freak like myself, you'll enjoy it for sure. You'll enjoy it. Invest in Tyreek Hill future track team. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah. The Dolphins have been bad for so long, but I'm wrong to say this particular team the last 4 to 5 years has been the most unlikable. It's all the same. It's just been a bad organization for decades. So what I've seen from the Dolphins for over 30 years, none of it is likable, my brother. I don't know about you, but in the end, nothing the Dolphins have done the last 35 years is likable at all. They're an embarrassment. Anthony Kyle Campos, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says, Tyler Perry presents Cheaper by the Dozen, starring Tyreek Hill and 12 kids going to Tubi. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you for the love on there. Corso says, oh, no, I missed a Star Wars rant. I don't know if you... Thank you, sir, for the super chat. But, yeah, we talked about... We gave you a Mandalorian on Friday because we went on Thursday when it popped out. We went to see it. So I went to see that, and then I Love Boosters. That's terrible. I love boosters. That was really bad. That was really bad. Yeah. Yeah. But listen, I'm not telling you not to see the Star Wars movie. I'm just telling you it's a good movie, but it's not a great movie. It's just not. It's not. You cannot call that a great movie. I'm sorry. There's lots of Star Wars movies that have come out in the theater, and I walk away and I go, that was a great movie. This is not one of them. This is a good movie. Not a bad movie, but a good movie. Thanks. Oh, at a minimum, quality time with my 15-year-old. For sure. For sure. And it's cool. You know what I mean? And you get a laugh because you get to see people that are in Darth Vader uniforms and dressed like Princess Leia or dressed like whatever. You know what I'm saying? You name it. You watch them go in, they're stormtroopers, and you're like tripping out like, okay. All right. I saw a whole family. As I was leaving the theater, a whole family of Star Wars was coming in. Mother, father, 2 kids, everybody dressed in Star Wars, which is cool. It's kind of a trip, you know. So thank you, Corso. Appreciate the super chat. Let's see. Oscar says, you gotta see the movie Ladies First with Sacha Baron Cohen. It's great. One of the best movies I've seen this year, up there with Send Help and Devil Wears Prada 2. The movie is so true about our times now. I saw it yesterday and I didn't watch it, you know, because I wasn't sure because, you know, it's Sacha Baron Cohen and he kind of had his run and then I don't know what to tell you, like his act got stale after a while because it was the same act. I just haven't seen this one, so I don't know. But I'll check it out. I'll give it a try. I'll give it a whirl. Indy Navarrete, last take on her gassing her up, but she's a horror icon. Jamie Lee Curtis, girl from Carrie, girl from Emily Rose as well, and maybe Daniel Harris. But wait a minute, like icon, how many horror movies has she done? Indy Navarrete. If she's an icon, are you telling me that she's done a whole bunch of horror movies? I don't understand that, because if you're a horror movie icon, then you're in movies, multiple horror movies, or your specific horror movie was so huge, you know, like Psycho or whatever, that's how it became that. So I'm not sure I could call her. See, that's kind of like, you know, icon. That's kind of pushing it, bro. You know, a movie first has to become iconic in order for that to happen. I don't think Obsession is an iconic movie. You know what I'm saying? Fatal Attraction, that's iconic. That line that I will not be, you know, what is it? I will not be avoided or whatever it was. Like, you know, everybody repeats that line from that. I'm not sure I would call it icon, you know. That's the first one she ever did. Yeah, so she's not an icon. But you know what, Anthony? You're a young guy, and I'm glad that you did that because it's a perfect example of people nowadays so quick to label shit that doesn't deserve to get labeled. And this happens all the time. Oh, no, he or she is one of the greats. Oh, this one's iconic. No, they're not. You know, this is not The Exorcist, bro. That's iconic. This is not Halloween. That's iconic. And Jamie Lee Curtis was in multiple movies. She's the Scream Queen. You know what I mean? And Halloween obsession is not close to Halloween. Halloween's so iconic that the music is iconic. We're not remembering the music of obsession, but we will remember the music of Friday the 13th. We will remember the music of Halloween. That's iconic, my brother. That's what iconic means. Nothing about obsession is iconic at all. So, but it's a great example. It's a great example when Jeremy Lin goes on a run for a month and New Yorkers go crazy and they have him as the second coming. This happens all the time. And that's the society that we live in, that we are so quick to label somebody some great title that they haven't even come close to earning. Oh, this guy's the next Michael Jordan. Oh, how about golf? How many times have they said this is the next Tiger Woods? And guess what? None of them are effing Tiger Woods. But hey, have at it, bro. Jason Day, he's going to be the next Tiger Woods. No problem. I got you. They're all going to be the next Tiger Woods. And that's this society. Anthony Kyle Campos, perfect example of this society, and ready to label something that they haven't even come close to earning. Let's see. Did you see what the Orange Man said about the troops who in the congressional? Yeah, no, I know it's and not a lot of dead guys named Donald. He's just a loser, bro. That's all. But just look at all the problems we're in. So it is what it is. Perhaps today's youths mix up the word iconic with ironic. John Carpenter wrote the music score for Halloween. Well, whatever John Carpenter did, he did it all right. Every single part of it. He did it. Every part of it is right. That's for sure. Every single part of it. Oh, man. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention for our friends at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, they've got a campaign going on, and you can be a part of it with your dog. And you can get on social media. And if you get on social media with your dog, you will have an opportunity to get into this video, which is actually a pretty cool thing that they're doing. Overall, let me give you the particulars. All right. So Subaru of Pembroke Pines, if you go out to the dealership and you get a new car from Subaru of Pembroke Pines, you're going to receive a Humane Society gift card. And you can use it towards an adoption fee, vaccines, or preventive care, pet supplies, or you can donate it back to help animals still waiting for a home. We only adopt our dogs nowadays. That's what we do pretty much. And there's nothing better than adopting a dog and bringing a doggy home. It's once you've really bonded with dogs, you will realize how much human qualities they actually have to them. And those dogs that are, at the shelters and waiting, they are so grateful when you get them out of a shelter and you take them home. And they will be your loving partner forever. And there is nothing more satisfying. I could be doing this show right now here for a couple of hours. My dogs are outside roaming around, not outside the house, but around the house roaming around. When I'm done and I walk out of the studio, it's like they haven't seen me for a week. And there's nothing more satisfying than that. So we have a one-word campaign going on social media called Who Saved Who SPP. All right. And so what you do is you put yourself out there with your dog, a picture of them, and share the story of you and your dog, how you guys how you came together, why he or she is your best friend, what you love about them, all those kind of things. And you hashtag who saved who, SPP, and the best ones are going to be put together in a video for Subaru Pembroke Pines. Mr. Zinn is a huge dog lover, like we are on the show. And so he has his share of dogs, and he every month has a pet of the month. In fact, when you go to Subaru Pembroke Pines at 16100 Pines Boulevard, you can actually bring your doggy with you. They're dog friendly over there too. So if you want to bring your dog while you're purchasing your vehicle or leasing your vehicle, bring your doggy with you, man. They love dogs over there at Subaru Pembroke Pines. So there you go. Make sure you get part of the campaign. Who saved who, SPP. Hashtag who saved who, SPP. And put your story and pictures there. All right? Good stuff, man. Good stuff from our friends at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. What else do we have here? Jamie Lee Curtis kills it. Prom, Halloween series, the music, great point. Animals are far more intuitive than humans realize, says Brett. Amen. Silence of the Lambs is iconic. Yes. There's so many lines in that one, too. I'll take Malik Willis over Patrick Mahomes at this point. Okay. I can see drugs are prevalent in our society still. And unfortunately, some are still abusing it really bad. Dolphins G is one of those guys. And, if you can reach out to the guy and help him out a little bit, that would be nice of you all out there. Okay. Just saying. Would be nice. Bitcoin, by the way, is at 76,637. As for the markets, we are now down. The Dow is down 107 points. Again, considering everything, markets are doing just fine. The S&P is up 43 points, and the NASDAQ is barely down a fraction of a point, a tenth of a point. It's nothing. Again, considering everything, it's gone really, really well. Really well. It puts the lotion in the basket. Yes. Miles Deep says, how about the Hellraiser movie that scared the crap out of... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's iconic right there. That's the iconic stuff. You know what's iconic? That's okay. Anthony Kyle Campos got a little crazy with his, iconic comparison of Navarrete in Obsession, which is not even close. But I'll tell you something that Anthony Kyle Campos, you youngins, can actually brag about. And it's going on during your generation because you probably get tired of hearing us talk about Michael Jordan and how good this guy was and how good that guy was and how good Willie Mays was and how good Ken Griffey Jr. was and how good Barry Bonds was and whatever, right? But there is something going on in the NBA and in Major League Baseball that is iconic and could end up becoming one of the all-time greats. One is already there in Shohei Ohtani. When people talk about, oh, this guy is awesome, he's one of the best ever, a lot of times they're full of shit. They're just kind of reacting at the moment when somebody's having a good year or whatever, and then they want to put him there in the category with Magic Johnson or whatever, right? And it's ridiculous that they do that. In today's generation, there are two players that are generational. Wemby is still kind of in the young stages, but what he's showing you, if he can stay healthy for a couple of more years, he definitely is going to be up there because the talent's already there. Really, his only question is the durability part. That's the only question that's kind of been from the get-go. Nobody knew how well he could play. Well, now we know how well he can play and all the things that he does, which is amazing, his size and his length. A little bit more, and he's already there. Now, Ohtani it's hilarious, but even us old guys are looking at it going, this is the greatest baseball player I've ever seen in my life. Because I'll tell you, this is the greatest player I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of great players. And it's hard to ever imagine the next great one better than this one. It's hard. Well, it arrived. And that is the cool thing about this era, is that you have two guys that are so generational, and they're also professional too in the way they carry themselves, which is actually a cool thing, that they're not scumbags that are also very talented, and then you've got to kind of tolerate the other part of it. That's not really the case with these guys. Ohtani may not be very good at hiring assistants, but that's his only defect. But outside of that, he handles everything else well, and Wemby is fantastic. But it's pretty cool where we have this tendency of overhyping everything before it actually has arrived. It's nice to actually have people that really can live up to the hype in Ohtani and in Wemby. These are the kind of people that even old guys like us who have seen some of the great players can say, oh yeah, this guy is as good as anybody out there ever. Does not matter the era, does not matter anything. These guys can play in any era. And that's a cool thing. And by the way, very awesome for you youngins out there, because obviously you didn't, if you didn't get to see Michael, you lost out. And you didn't get to see Kareem, you lost out. And you didn't see Magic or Bird, you lost out. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't see Wilt Chamberlain, you lost out. Well, you got Wemby now. You didn't get to see Tim Duncan, you lost out. There's some pretty special players that you'll hear about. You'll watch it on film. You'll watch it, somewhere on YouTube. But it's a whole lot different story when you get to live and watch it live against everybody else and everything. And to me, it's actually generationally, it's really cool to have two players like that belong with all the greats, because their talent is equal to all those people, and they belong there in that spot. Ohtani is forget it. I've never seen anything like this. Even I didn't see Babe Ruth, but considering the athletes of those days and everything else, it's amazing what he did. Don't get me wrong, but what Ohtani's doing is much more impressive. Much more impressive, dude. Because if you know anything about the Babe story, he was more of a pitcher, and then he became a hitter. And as he became more of a hitter, they took away all the pitching. They eased it away, and then it was just gone. Within a couple of years, as he grew out of it so he never did what Ohtani's doing right now. Never. Not even close. Nobody has ever come close to this. Nobody has been able to do this. It will open doors for the future now, that's for sure, because we're going to have others that are going to cross that line. But it's pretty cool, man. For you younger generations, you've got two guys that you can say they're right up there with all of the other ones. And in one guy, he's probably the best baseball player to ever play that game. That's impressive, dude. That's impressive considering the amount of people that have played that game. Pretty cool, man. Pretty damn cool. All right, what else do we have going on? I saw over the weekend, they ended up passing on Friday the Bridgewater Act. This will allow Florida high school coaches to use their own money up to $15,000. It'll have to be all reported and documented and all of that, and it'll be cut off right at $15K. The only thing I say about this is it's obviously going to be a dirty tool now. One, 99% of the high school coaches in this country cannot spend $15,000 of their own money. That less than 1% happens to be professional players that chose to start coaching in high school, and they've got their money from their professional contract still. So they can spare the $15,000 like Teddy Bridgewater can. But most coaches in high school, all that, they don't earn that kind of money that they can just give away their $15,000. Now, here's what's going to end up happening. Depends on the school where you're at. But if you have parents that have money, there's going to be some dirty money going under the table towards these coaches so they can use that money. So those schools will know that they have a $15,000 cap that your coach can use, and somehow or another that $15,000 is going to appear in their hands moving forward. Just saying. It does open it up for all kinds of stuff, okay? And I get why they passed a rule. Schools can't provide everything. Taxpayers can't provide everything. And you can't ask taxpayers to pay for football players when there's band and there's all kinds of other people and there's art and there's, things that aren't sports related and not necessarily money producers. Because obviously your football team will produce some money because people will go to the games and all that kind of stuff. But the other things that you do that are as important scholastically, academically, athletically for your school, they may not have that kind of, exposure or demand or anything like that. But what are you going to do? Take away from that? You can't. And you can't diss it like it's not important, because that's important to other people and other kids and other families, because people develop other skills that they want to showcase, not just football. Could be art, could be business, could be educational, could be another athletic venture. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to open the door for some dirtiness. And I just wonder about certain schools that maybe are in a poor demographic and don't have a coach that's a former NFL player. They'll be at a bigger disadvantage. It's just a rule that can be abused, is my point. And I get it. I don't have a problem, because some of these kids, man, this is their only way out, and they need help, and you can't expect the taxpayers to provide everything, and then the schools can't necessarily provide anything. So what Teddy Bridgewater did was just golden, bro. Because he is a phenomenal human being. That's why he did that. And we all envy that. But it all these kind of things can be abused. And that's the sad part about it. And it will be, unfortunately. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? By the way, on the Bitcoin side, might as well tell you a little Bitcoin. Our friends at R&M Contractors, Ray and Mike, always take care of us on the crypto side and Bitcoin side. Big sponsors of that part of our show. Well, Mark Cuban over the weekend announced that he sold 80% of his Bitcoin. So he kept 20. Now, let me explain something to you. Mark Cuban got in late. He wasn't in early. And so I'm not surprised that he did this. And he talked. Now, he only got rid of 80% of it. He kept 20. And this is where I call bullshit. Okay? Mark knows that we're about to run out of gas towards the end of June and July. And we're going to have a financial crisis coming up right around the corner. No matter what happens with the war, if they end up coming to an agreement or not in this next couple of days or week or two, it does not matter. It will not stop, because we're depleting our supply, and the gas is the world's price. So we will end up paying $5 to $6 easy, $7 of gas in some places. Get ready, it's coming. Okay, I'm talking about regular unleaded, not premium. Okay. It's going to happen. He knows it. So the stock market's going to fall back. Bitcoin's going to fall back. I think he sold his 80% where he lost money. because he got in late. That's what I believe. Because he compared it a few years back to a bundle of bananas. So he got in late, and he probably bought high, and he probably is selling the stuff that he's losing money on so he can write it off. And the 20% he kept is probably under 75. That's probably the bit that he got that is under, and he's keeping that. That's what he's doing. So he'll write it off, and then he'll buy back, like a lot of these people end up doing. They live in another world than we live in, where they get to move billions around for fun and to avoid taxes and to get tax breaks and all those kind of things that you and I rarely ever take advantage of. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing develops. But I would keep an eye on that. Also, Strive, which is Vivek Ramaswamy's company, bought 1,109 Bitcoin for $85.4 million. They now own 16,500 Bitcoin for $1.27 billion. Do not think that this thing is even close to over. It's just right now, you know, we're in that lull, and Bitcoin seems to do that to people, and we're gonna explode soon because rough waters are coming, and that's usually when Bitcoin responds. By the way, our friends at R&M Contractors, Ray and Mike, if you want to see how exceptional their work is, go to the Instagram page, RMC Fisher Island. If you need complete remodel, kitchen upgrades and appliances, waterproofing your terrace, balcony, flood test report, impact windows, door installations, bathroom upgrades, floor restorations, maintenance, stucco repair. They do it all, man. Call Ray or Mike, man, 305-345-3649. That's 305-345-3649. And tell them that Big O sent you there, R&M Contractors. Don't forget, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You can send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff. Appreciate you all out there as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you can use the QR code there too. All right, what else do we have? Jeff in Long Island, Lamar is finished. He can't, okay, whatever. No, okay. Big O, I saw you didn't mention LeBron. For what? I don't know. What LeBron is what? What are we talking about? All right. Would help when you guys send something in, add the explanation to what you're saying, because then I have to guess at what you're answering about, because I've talked about several things going on, so I'm not exactly sure what it is. That would help me out in understanding what you guys are pointing out that I said or something that I didn't say. Anyway, Matt Stafford ends up getting his extension. He now has, they gave him $55 million for 2027. He now has $105 million for the next 2 years. And I got to give the Rams a ton of credit, not only because they know how to run their franchise, they've won a Super Bowl, McVay's a fantastic coach, all of that kind of stuff. Whether this works out or not, I don't know. Neither do you. But this is the way you're supposed to do things. Where you have an older quarterback, you were able to acquire, you won a Super Bowl with him, you want to finish out his time, and then at the same time you drafted his replacement this year, where he's going to sit for the next 2 years. I'm sure he'll play sporadically, because in blowout games, whether the Rams are winning or losing or whatever, I could see Ty Simpson getting some playing time. But it's so cool for Ty Simpson to be able to sit for the next 2 years, learn from Matt Stafford, and then learn from McVay, get all the reps, and be as prepared as possible in year 3. I find that to be absolutely, what's the word that I envy? As a Dolphins fan, I envy it because this is a team that gets it. They understand what they have to do. And this is the way you move forward. And if you're able to bring a guy in so he can marinate for a while, understand your offense, understand the calls, the protections, everything that goes on, and get him to that point, I think that's absolutely amazing, dude. We'll see if it works out, if Ty Simpson's the guy. But this is the way you want to bring in a young quarterback. Not draft them and throw them to the wolves right away because you have nobody. And since your team sucked, we drafted a quarterback and here we go. And now he's on a bad team starting, which makes his life that much harder. Now he gets 2 years to learn. And then when he takes over, it's a ready-made team. Kind of like what I tell you that Green Bay does for their quarterbacks, that when they bring in their quarterbacks, they marinate, but then when they take the field, they're taking the field with a team that's ready-made. Not a team that's young and has to figure it out just like you. That's a problem on top of a problem. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if your team is made and ready to go and can ready to complement your quarterback, that makes his job that much easier. Just a all-around smart move, smart way of balancing everything out. I got to give them monster credit there on that one. That is pretty good. We talked about this over the weekend, and now we have the news, but Kurt Busch, I mean, wow, man. Just a shame how he was. Let me read it to you. He died on Thursday, the 21st, complications related to severe pneumonia that progressed into sepsis. And it revealed by his family in a statement on Saturday, sepsis is a life-threatening condition occurs when the body's response to an infection causes damage to its own tissues and organs. Just crazy. He was hospitalized after collapsing in a Chevy simulator in Concord, North Carolina on Wednesday, May 20th, according to a 9/11 call obtained by NBC News. Busch was experiencing shortness of breath, overheating, and coughing up blood. Despite these symptoms, he was reportedly alert when emergency responders arrived. Busch's passing, overall, but it's just, man, you feel for his wife, Samantha, and their children, Brexton, 11, and Lennox, 4. How young are those kids? How do you explain to Lennox, the 4-year-old, and Brexton, the 11-year-old, that your dad's not coming back? That has to be the nightmare of any parent. And how is a man with all that access to medical and everything dealing with severe pneumonia and gets it to the point of sepsis? That is insane. But he might be one of those people that is in your family, because it's in mine and yours too. I'm not one of those people, but I'm not that person that's in my family. I'm not going to say who it is. But those people that put off everything, they got a bad cold, they won't go check it out. They busted up their foot. They won't go check it out. Their finger is like twisted in like 8 different, here we go. It's all right. That person that doesn't check anything out, maybe he's that dude. Oh, I'll be all right. Yeah, it's just a cough. And you just never know. You just never know. By the way, it's not a sign of weakness to go to the doctor and go check yourself out, folks. Don't be afraid, okay? That's crazy, dude. To think that that man was suffering from all of that and he didn't know and nobody did. Considering the amount of money that man has, who he is, you would figure that like health would be the number one priority in his life, right? That's kind of the way it looks, that it would be health. And yet, no. Insane, dude. Absolutely insane. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Don't forget our friends there at All Year Cooling. They service Homestead all the way up to Vero Beach. Also, we got new offices in Naples. So give them a ring. Same-day service and installs. 888-204-5554. They are Florida's #1 AC and plumbing service. Extended warranties, financing available, same-day installations, free repair estimates, 7-day-a-week service. They've been around since 73. That's 53 years now serving the Florida community, man. Go to call.allyearcooling.com to get a free estimate. They've got over 350,000 satisfied customers. I think they're doing something right. By the way, the AC it's cranking right now in my house, 16 years old. Thanks to the folks at All Year Cooling. They installed it years ago. Reach out to them. 888-204-5554 and tell them that Big O sent you. Good people. All Year Cooling. Let's see. Canes. What else? R.I.P. Manny Fernandez, age 79, was a neighbor of my family's home at Knowles in Miramar, about 2 miles from the stadium. He had pool parties, and other players such as Jake Scott would visit. Okay. Good dude. NorCal says, my good friend died last year from not getting his broken foot looked at, and it got infected. Wow. I didn't know you can die from a broken foot, that it would get infected. Holy crap. How do you not check your broken foot? That's insane. Miles Deep says there's a conspiracy. I feel like when they don't really know what happened, they just call it pneumonia. But yeah, I don't know his medical history. Could have had low white blood cells, but I don't know. Yeah, none of us do, bro. Big O, in sepsis, your immune system overreacts, releasing chemicals into the bloodstream that cause widespread inflammation, much like the rheumatoid arthritis. Okay? It's just amazing that a man that has those resources ends up like that. That's the part that is just, it's hard to understand. You know, it really is. It's hard to understand. All right, folks. Let's see. Let's do a little birthdays. Let's start off with some birthdays, and let's start off with musicians born on this date on May 26th. All right. Here we go. We start off with the lazy one, Lauryn Hill, singer, songwriter, obviously with the Fugees, born in 1975. Happy birthday to her. Alan White, drummer with Oasis, born in 72. The amazing Lenny Kravitz, born in 64. Dude, looks like he never gets old. What else? Celebrating birthdays today. Wayne Hussey, such a hussy, a member of Dead or Alive, born in 59. The great Hank Williams Jr., son of the country great star, born in 49. The amazing Stevie Nicks, solo, and of course Fleetwood Mac, born in 48. Mick Ronson, member of the Rats, worked with David Bowie. He also worked with Mott the Hoople, Bob Dylan, Ian Hunter, born in 46. Gary Peterson, drummer from the Canadian rock band The Guess Who, born in 45. Vernon Allen from Mott the Hoople, born in 45. Ray Ennis, born in 42. Let's see who else. Levon Helm, drummer with the band, born in 1940. The amazing, the fantastic, a generational talent, Miles Davis, jazz trumpeter and composer, born on this date in 1926. We lost him back in 91. And that is musicians born on this date. Now we go with other famous people born on the 26th. Remember, if I don't give you the age, that means they are no longer with us anymore. Actor John Wayne, born in 1907. Actor Peter Cushing, born in 1913. I always trip out with some of these names that they put here. Right to Die advocate Jack Kevorkian, born in 1928. You are looking live. Well, Jack Kevorkian doesn't like that part, but Brett Musburger does. He's born in 39. He is 87. Bless that man. Musician, talent. Pam Grier, born in 49. She is 77. Boy, in her day, one of the hottest women on the planet. Philip Michael Thomas, born in 49. He is 77 today. And he can also tell you the future. Him and Mrs. Cleo. He's still doing that. No, he's not. I'm joking. Bobcat Goldthwait. He had a run. Born in 62. He's 64. Dude, I thought Bobcat Goldthwait was dead. I didn't know he was still alive. Wow. I just haven't seen him in forever. Maybe that's why I thought he was no longer with us. Actress Helen Bonham Carter, born in 66, like me. She is 60 today. Except I'm 59. I'm still not 60 yet. It's coming, unfortunately. Musicians Philip Rhodes from the Jim Blossoms, born in 68. He's 58. Filmmaker, actor Matt Stone, born in 71. He's 55. And that is it for musicians born on this date. Now we move over to what happened today in music history. And let's start off with 66, the year I was born. The Beatles recorded Yellow Submarine at Abbey Road Studios in London. The track features John Lennon's blowing bubbles in a bucket of water, shouting, "Full speed ahead, Mr. Captain." In 72, Mott the Hoople, on the verge of breaking up, were offered help from David Bowie, who allowed them to record 2 songs he wrote. They passed on Suffragette City, but cut All the Young Dudes, which is basically Mott the Hoople's biggest song, which became their biggest hit and revived their careers. There you go. All the Young Dudes. So those of you out there, maybe you didn't know that nugget, but David Bowie wrote that song for Mott the Hoople and saved their asses. Happened in 72. In 76, Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, apparently intoxicated, verbally accosted first-class passengers on a transatlantic flight. Actor Telly Savalas and Dudley Moore, passengers on the same flight, gave statements about Zeppelin's men's misbehavior. And Telly at the end said, "Who love you, baby?" And Dudley Moore said, I never act like that. No matter how much I drink on a plane, I don't act like Page and Plant. I think that's how he said it. I'm not exactly sure. Only old people understand what I just did. In 77, the O.J. singer Billy Powell died of cancer. That damn cancer, bro. The O.J.'s had the 1973 number 1 hit, Love Train. In 86, AC/DC released their 10th studio album, Who Made Who. It features the singles, Who Made Who. It's a soundtrack for Stephen King's film, Maximum Overdrive. In 87, The Cure released their 7th studio album and an absolute masterpiece, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, featuring the hit singles Why Can't I Be You and Just Like Heaven. Hot, Hot, Hot is also there too. In 94 on this date, Michael Jackson married Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley. The couple divorced in 95. That was, when those two married, we were like, huh? What? What? Yeah, that just didn't make any sense whatsoever. I was like, nobody would have ever guessed that. You would have stumped everybody. You could have picked a bunch of people and Michael Jackson might have married, or Lisa Marie Presley. You would have never picked either one of them. I mean, when you talk about marriages that have, it makes no sense whatsoever, that was the one right there. In 2008, Yale University awarded Paul McCartney an honorary doctorate of music. Doctorate of music, by the way. I'm sorry. In 2022, Depeche Mode keyboardist Andy Fletcher died at the age of 60. Fletcher was a founding member of the band who found success with their dark electronic sound and hits including Personal Jesus and Enjoy the Silence. In 2022, Alan White, best known for his tenure in the progressive rock band Yes, died at the age of 72. In 69, White joined John Lennon and Yoko Ono's Plastic Ono band, playing drums on the single Instant Karma and Imagine. As well as most of Lennon's 71 Imagine album, White also performed on more than 50 albums by other musicians, notably George Harrison, Ginger Baker's Air Force, Terry Reid, Joe Cocker, and the Ventures. Let me see if there's any birthdays that weren't on the other list. Sometimes one or two sneak by. And in this case, only Justin Courtney, Pierre of Motion City soundtrack, is 50. That's it. That's what happened today in Musica history. All right. Oh, man. Oh, did you know that Sonny Rollins was one of the greatest saxophonists ever? Passed away yesterday. I did not know that. Did not know that. R.I.P. I'm going to have to look him up. Miles Deep says, so much resources and only 41. I'm going to be 40 this year. It's crazy. Yeah, I said it on Friday. I'm 59. I passed 41 18 years ago. Every day is a blessing, dude. Every day you're allowed to open your eyes. You're just lucky. Today I opened them around 4:35 in the morning and I couldn't close them again. I've been up since 4:35. And I went to sleep around midnight. I don't know why. I just woke up at 4:35. I went to the bathroom and then I just went back to bed and I like tossed and turned for like 2 hours. And I said, you know what? I'm getting up. That's it. It's crazy. It's one of those deals. I'm sure an afternoon nap is coming at one point or another. Lisa Marie Presley just Googled. I didn't know she passed until now. Oh, yeah. She recently passed. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Big O, nobody escapes from Kojak, even Led Zeppelin, especially when he had his lollipop. Damn right. Damn right. Kojak was too quick. Too quick, baby. And he loves you, baby. That's the other thing about Kojak. I don't know if you guys know this, but he loves you, baby. All right, we are out of here. We appreciate all of you out there as always. Thank you for tuning in and keeping it locked here. We shall see you tomorrow morning, baby. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.